So today we're talking about the Asian influence. It's a concert that's going to be given at Beth Temple on December the 4th at 7 p.m. And my question, well, first of all, let's introduce our guests. We have Cantor Joseph Ness and Chai Lun Ye. Yue.
Yes.
How's that?
Sounds good.
It's good?
Yes.
Okay, Chai Lun Ye. And you're going to be doing the concert together. So my first question is, why the Asian influence? How does that tie in to Beth Temple?
Well, you know, I was one of the judges in the Connecticut piano competition last year. The other judge was a wonderful pianist from Boston, and we picked this fabulous pianist from Yale, Ho-Young Jung, as the winner of the competition. And I had the concert in the spring, and I thought I wanted her to play the Prokofiev Third Piano Concerto with us. And my committee is the best committee in the world, told me it make the program a little long. So what I did was the other judge that was with me that selected her, I had him play the Prokofiev First Piano Concerto, which is shorter, but the end result is we have a fabulous young pianist from Korea who is going to play on this concert. And so I said, how do I create a concert that has some unification with it? And so obviously there is that whole history of the Jewish community in China, specifically the Jews coming, I think, from the Turkish Greek area.
The Kaifeng, I think
Kaifeng.
you mentioned, yes.
Yeah, that's right.
In the 12th century. So that tied that part of it.
But she was your initial motivation?
She was the initial motivation.
But because she was playing Prokofiev,
Right,
and she's going to be playing Prokofiev Concerto Number 3.
Right.
But how does that concerto fit in with Asian influence, or is it just her?
Well, what's funny is that it's not, she's one of the elements, but then I have my phenomenal friend Chai Lun, who I met through a wonderful friend of ours and colleague, Lisa Wagner, 15 years ago it must have been.
And I think that Chai Lun is also Lisa Wagner's coach.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's been my voice student for quite some time.
Well, and for me, she's done so much creative work with regard to my concerts. I can't even start to.
So Chai Lun, and you are going to be. You're described with a magisterial baritone.
I totally agree with that.
That's the way they described you. You know, in all the literature. How do you fit into this concert, and how do the Hanghua singers fit in?
Thank you so much for having me. I think this is a great opportunity for me to sort of introduce myself and my group. Hanghua Singers of Greater Hartford is under my leadership. I'm the music and artist director. There's a bunch of Chinese American people who are all professionals, but not professional musicians, but been together singing, doing a lot of community services to the local.
Since 1989, I think so.
Yeah,
so that's like 27 years.
Maybe even longer than that. We had a lot of concerts in New York, Boston, actually, obviously at the Carnegie Hall.
Well, you had at Carnegie Hall, you had at Lincoln Center.
And Symphony Hall in
Wellesley
Boston
Hall,
and Chicago.
San Francisco.
Yes.
So let me ask you, as a personal question, I mean, that's pretty heady stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you've been in Carnegie Hall, you've been in Lincoln Center.
Right.
Is there a different feeling if you go to Beth Temple?
No, whatsoever.
No different feeling?
No.
What do you think?
We feel exactly the same thing.
Well, when you want to make music, or at least for me, when you want to make music, you want to make it the best way you know how you put your heart and soul into it. And so in that moment of music making, you could be anywhere and do something.
And you feel the same nerves, for want of a better word?
Absolutely.
Absolutely the same. Yeah.
See, Joseph and I go back probably hundreds of years. Well, actually, we're not just friends, but also actually great colleagues. You know, he invited me. We did quite some concerts together at Bethel, right?
I remember doing the Wayfarer songs, of Mahler, and it was difficult for me to get through the piece. I got so emotionally involved listening to him sing. It's just a wonderful.
It's just so beautiful. Well, Chai Lun,
Yes.
I'm taking a look at your body of work.
Yeah.
You have about 5 or 6 CDs.
5.
5 CDs,
Yes.
and one of them is One Enchanted Evening, which is Broadway songs.
That's right.
You have an anthology of Chuan Sheng Lu, the 100th birthday also of that Taiwanese composer,
Right.
and also La Mia Canzone, the best of Francesco Paolo Tosi. So that's all different types of music.
Absolutely.
Do you have a favorite?
My favorite would be actually the one you didn't mention. It's the 24 Italian songs and arias. That was my first CD that I made for the entire group of 24 songs. That was actually, I made like 4 or 5 years ago.
And that's your favorite.
That, well, it's hard to pick, but really, maybe the most beautiful one that I think is La Mia Canzone, the Tosti album. So anyway.
And what is this program going to be about, the Asian influence? What's the whole program besides the piece, the Prokofiev piece?
Well, Chailun is going to sing a wonderful solo, an art song. Well, you can explain a Mongolian
That's right.
art song.
It's called Horizon. This is really, really a beautiful, kind of in between folk and art song. Slow, but it's really melodically gorgeous. So that's the solo piece I'm going to do. And also the Kanhua singers will be singing 3 short choral pieces also in this program.
And
and
what about?
And I'm so much looking forward to hearing them, and always Chailun is very inspiring.
Well, you were the first Chinese-born American to be nominated for a Grammy.
Grammy, yes.
So from those two things, what was also mentioned was that you were Chinese-born and Chinese classically trained.
Yes.
Of those two things, what is the one that is more important to you, the Grammy or the Chinese-born?
I think the education.
The education.
Yes.
Well, your
Both.
education was in China and also in
My
America.
undergraduate degree was taken in China, the conservatory that I studied. And then, but I came to this country about 30 years ago, and then I got my graduate degrees at Hart
Right.
School of Music. Yeah,
Well, that's
which many musicians.
that's a local
went there.
thing.
Yeah.
That's a local
I've been
thing.
in the area forever.
And so now you're going to be doing a tonal poem.
It was difficult for me to start writing it for whatever reasons, probably because I'm busy on so many different projects. But then I thought of it as a ballet.
A ballet.
A ballet.
Oh, well, this is the first time I've heard this.
So there won't be dancing, as far as I know, but it will be scenes from a ballet about the Jews of Kaifeng. And so what's becoming more interesting is to me is to integrate the verticalizations, the tonal harmonies, or I should say the harmonies, because who knows if they'll be, of Chinese music with what I'm trying to do. So I'm trying to do something that is original, not just a copy of things. So we'll see how it turns out.
So this is an original.
Yes, it's not very long, about 10 minutes long, but it'll be four scenes from, I think, a larger ballet that I'll be writing.
When you talk about scenes, it implies that a person watching it will know what it's about.
Well, either I'll have someone just before each scene describe it, or we'll work that out. It's in the process of being worked out. In addition to that, what you've heard so far, we have a fabulous young violinist from, I believe, Taiwan. His name is Chi Li, who will be doing the Glazunov Violin Concerto. So, yes, it's fascinating how these concerts turn out. Yes, it's an Asian performance concert, and
East
also
meets West.
I'm sorry.
East,
Well, in a way,
sort of?
but it's also
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
bit.
Sure.
Yeah.
in a completely different way. It's a Russian concert because we have Prokofiev and Glazunov. So these are two of the great Russian composers, and those are, from the repertoire standpoint, those are the big two pieces on the program.
And you also have a professor, Michael Letts, and he's going to be speaking at 6:30, half an hour before the program starts.
On the Jews of Shanghai, and it's a fabulous story because there are some really great musicians that escaped Europe during the time of the Holocaust and escaped to Shanghai, and even before that, and there was a great community there. I believe Maurice Abravanel was there. He's a wonderful. He passed away obviously recently, but he was the great conductor of the Utah Symphony, and he was a world-class conductor, and as well as other composers too.
Is there one last message you want to tell the people who are watching this?
Well,
Besides come.
Yeah, besides that, no, I think it come because it's an opportunity to listen to music that you might not ordinarily have heard, and those people that will be playing, we will do it from our heart and soul. And I
Absolutely.
think that's
Absolutely.
and also a pleasure, as always, to make music with you.
And I wanted to hear one more thing from Chai Lin. You're at a concert like this, and you're doing a folk song.
Mm-hmm.
Is that folk song? Do people know that folk song? Like, will people know that?
Too many Chinese ears. I mean, people who live in this country, no matter how long, they should recognize the tone.
They will.
But obviously, still, it's kind of like a recomposed, if you know, it's like a rearranged. So, as I said earlier, it almost becomes like an art piece instead of like just pure folk song. It's
Got it.
quite different. Also, using this sort of bel canto, which means it's sort of traditional Western way of singing to produce the sound, not singing with the folk song style. So, because I'm more like an opera singer, so really I won't be singing like a just pure folk, like a country singer.
Well, that's why I was asking, because you
Right.
mentioned it was a folk song, and my impression of folk songs are that everybody knows them. But of course, I don't know Chinese folk songs. So it will have a familiarity to it.
It's very
Yeah.
catchy,
Very catchy. Okay,
very
good.
catchy and pretty.
This is December the 4th at Beth El Temple, 6:30. Professor Michael Lest will be speaking, and at 7 o'clock we'll have the concert with Cantor Ness, Chai Lin, and the Keng Hua Singers.
Yeah.
Be there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cantor Ness.